few weeks ago, I did an episode on some high basketball IQ strategies that you can use on offense when your team is down towards the end of the game. Well, today I wanted to share some strategies that you can use on defense in that same game situation that will help your team get stops and give you a chance to win the game. Let's jump in and discuss. Welcome back to Hard Smart Together. I'm Coach Dave. I'm here every week to help basketball players become the smart, confident players that coaches love. So we've all been down at the end of a game, okay? Maybe you're down, 4, 5, 6 points and you need to make a comeback. Now we're not talking about the desperation time where there's only a few seconds left and maybe you have to foul. Your coach says, hey, go foul so that we can put them on the line. Hopefully they miss some free throws and we can get a possession back. We're talking about enough possessions where you need to get stops. Every stop matters. And then you need to execute on the offensive end. Well, a few weeks ago we talked about how smart players might execute on the offensive end and thinking about what the opposing team is doing. Well, today I just want to cover a defensive real mistake a lot of average players make at the end of the game that allows the opposing team to hold on to the lead and to win the game, and how you can have some better basketball IQ, some situational awareness that will allow you not to make that same mistake on defense. Now, I like to give a disclosure whenever I'm talking strategy, because your first job as a smart, high IQ basketball player is to execute on your coach's plan, on your coach's strategy. So it doesn't matter what we're talking about on this. I want you to be situationally aware, but don't be that player that does something different from what your coach tells you to do, because your job is to execute their plan and your coach controls your playing time. I do not control your playing time. So that's your first tip for today. Okay, but we're going to go over this mistake a lot of players make on defense and how you can clean that up and give your team a better chance to win those games. Now, before I get into that too in depth, I'd like to give you a free gift just for listening in, just for watching the video today. If you haven't already downloaded the 8 intangible skills coaches love to see in players, I make a checklist form, make it easy for you to download. Just go to the link in the description below, or you can simply go to hardsmarttogether.com/intangibles, and I'll be sure to get you that checklist. Okay, so it's the end of the game. You're down by 6, whatever. You need multiple possessions. You need multiple stops in order to make this comeback. But it's getting to crunch time. There's not a lot of time left in the game. Okay, you're getting to that desperation point. So you need to change the way you defend on the court. And the problem that I see from a lot of average players, even a lot of good players, you can watch games on TV, and I see this all the time during games on TV. Too many players are focused on the ball in this situation. Now, if you're guarding the ball, obviously, you're focused on stopping the ball, keeping the ball in front of you, pressuring the ball. If your coach is sending a strategy where you're going to double team the ball, maybe trap, make something happen. At the end of the game, you're down very, there's a good chance you're doing that, okay? But if you're not, if you're off the ball, if you're guarding somebody that doesn't have the ball and you're not responsible for the ball, it doesn't matter what defense you're in. You might be in zone, you might be in man, okay? We talk a lot on this channel about being in the proper positioning and the proper positioning to be able to help on the drive, okay? in order to be kind of in the gaps in the defense. The footwork for that. Well, in this game situation, you might need to alter that a little bit. You can't get too detached from the player you're guarding. Why? Because one of the things that is going to stop you from making a comeback, that's going to stop you from getting stops, is the other team completing passes. You need to be focused on making every pass as difficult as possible and even shutting down the passing lanes and stopping simple passes, stopping complete passes. Okay? Why? Because every time a team can complete a pass, precious time is coming off the clock. And when they're easy and they, if you're so focused on the ball, that's when people get back cut. That's when one easy pass leads to another easy pass, leads to an easy bucket. Now you're not down by 5 or 6, you're down by 7 or 8. Now you need even more possessions to catch up. Okay? You've got to get stops. So while the defenders guarding the ball need to focus on the ball, and yes, you need to be aware of the ball, but you need to be a little bit more focused on shutting down the player you're guarding from receiving a pass. A little bit more stuck to them, a little bit more denial, okay? Because let's go over a couple of scenarios that you'd love to happen in this scenario. One is the ball defender ball defenders get the ball to discontinue their dribble. Maybe they're in a trap and they're looking for an outlet. They're looking for that pass, okay? Well, if you're so concentrated on the ball that you let your player slip right by you and go for a pressure release pass behind the ball or back cut you or whatever the case might be, just an easy to the wing pass, they've got them. They've discontinued their dribble, but you didn't do your job. You didn't make the pass difficult. Now it's all time ticking away, more possessions, So you've got to, in that scenario. Now let's go with the scenario of you've denied, you might not be in that gap. You might not be helped for that drive, but you need things to happen, right? Maybe they make a quick drive and they make a rushed shot. Everybody does their job. They make contact, box out, you secure the rebound. Now you've got the possession to go down and start chipping away at that lead, okay? Yeah, you gave up maybe a drive. Maybe typically you'd be in that gap. But if you're in that gap and they drive in and engage you as a defender, now it's an easy pass to the player you're guarding, right? You're going to have to give something up in order to kind of get things moving so that you can secure that defense and then get a new possession for your team. So you need to deny in order to stop these passes. It is when everyone on the court is on the same page and doing their job. Ball defender pressuring the ball. Everybody else attached to their man and denying the easy passes. Shot goes up, hopefully a bad shot that's forced. Everybody's making contact and securing the rebound. It's when everybody's on the same page, it's when everybody's doing their job that you give yourself an opportunity to make that comeback and to win that game. So don't be the player, don't be the low IQ, the average player that forgets. You're so focused on the ball, you're so focused on stopping the ball that you just leave the player you're guarding wide open because completed passes loses you that game. Passes that they're shut down. A team that can't make passes, can't make easy passes, makes mistakes, speeds up, and that is how you get the stops to win the game. So hopefully this was helpful. This, in combination with the episode that I did a few weeks ago on the offensive end of the same game scenario, and hopefully you boosted your basketball IQ just a little bit. If that was helpful, give me a like, give me a comment below on how it was, and maybe a game situation where you found yourself in this very situation and a completed pass or two lost you the game, or maybe you're doing this and how it won the game for you. I'd love to hear those stories. And until next week, remember to play hard, play smart, and play together. See you next week.